So hi everyone, my name is Alistair Bates and I am a solution architect with cloud optimization here at AWS. And today we are really excited to be joined by some amazing people at Collibri Digital. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have Sergio and Gelera. Please introduce yourselves, we'd love to get to know you.
Thanks for having us. Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I'm Gelera, Head of AI and Data Science in Collibri. So excited to be here.
Yeah, and really nice to be here as well. I'm Sergio Isler, a data scientist in Collibri as well, working mostly in Gen AI projects, and really excited to have this chat with you guys.
You know, it's timely. As we all know, generative AI has been dominating the news cycles. Partners are rushing to try to create solutions. Customers are trying to find a way to internalize it, justify it, and find a way to actually go through and apply it. The average customer, when I speak to them, they love the idea of having tons of models to choose from, but nobody ever knows where to get started. They think, hey, this is the latest model, this may be the best one for me. How do you go about thinking to go and figure out what the best model option is for your individual use case? Is that something that you've put some thought behind?
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to building different Gen AI applications, at the core part of our development is the evaluation part.
Okay.
We always try to wrap up our Gen AI application with quantitative and qualitative evaluation. When it comes to quantitative evaluation, it means that we want to be precise on the numbers and provide our clients and also our AI engineering team with the right numbers as if needed. Like when evaluating Gen AI applications specifically, we're looking into measures like quality of the result, latency, and also the cost. These are very important. And also at the same time, you're building using different foundational model, using different generative models as well, fine-tuning them. On its own, it can turn into a combinatorial optimization problem, very large search space.
Yeah.
So our data scientists and our AI engineers spending 5 to 7 days to do this evaluation, like going through it and see which models makes more sense, especially when it comes to the RAG application, for example. You need to use like right embedding models and at the same time RAG generative models, which combination sounds like the best one. So that's how we built with the team. It's a good time to build an AI switchboard, which basically take care of the whole process on its own automatically.
So you're saying vibe coding is not it? Is that what I'm understanding?
You're not just testing it out and trying for the best. You actually do have a way to test between them.
Exactly. And AWS made us able to do it much more efficiently. You have access to different foundational models through Amazon SageMaker and also lots of top-tier large language models like Anthropic's, Cohere, and lots of other models from AWS. So I think it's good to see and how it looks like in practice.
Yes, would love to see it. Do we have a demo to go through?
Yeah, we do have a demo.
Oh, let's bring that up. Let's go ahead and bring that up.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah,
go for it.
So we have the demo here. Yeah, so the idea here is that we can test as much models, and not only models, but also how do we use these models? Because as you know, like we not only have the models, but now we have all of these multi-agentic architectures and stuff. So the use case that I want to run through this demo is, we can imagine a travel agency startup or something that wants to introduce Gen AI on their systems, and they are wondering, do we need this multi-agentic architecture, or can we just go straight with the raw model, no need to do extra stuff and so long? So let's choose Sonnet 3.5, and then the Sonnet 3.5 Collibri, let's say, is like our approach to multi-agent.
Probably making use of different modalities, different type of agents, different type of context.
Exactly. So it doesn't not only have access to different calls to the same model, but also tools. So in this use case, we are going to ask for a 3-day or 4-day itinerary for a trip based on the weather. So we'll need access to a weather agent and also the actual internet to see what activities are going on.
Cool. That actually kind of tracks back to a question that was asked in the chat about how this could compare to other chatty services. It is. I think it's a good way and a good segue to doing exactly what you're talking about, where you can be as precise or unspecific as you need to, depending on the use case. Is that accurate?
Yeah, yes, exactly. So the how it compares to other like multi-chat interfaces is because we're not only comparing like different models at the same time, but we also like compare approaches. So is it necessary to like have all of these fancy stuff, or can we just run a simple thing? And also giving like an actual numeric value on how good this performed is actually really good for us. And as Gelare said, it saves us lots of time, because I don't know other developers, but personally me, I would rather spend most of my time just developing than
and not doing that.
exactly not doing what we are trying to optimize here, like automate here.
Yep.
So the next step will be to select the evaluation criteria. And here we have 5 different steps: correctness, coherence, helpfulness, readability, relevance. Depending on the use case, you'll only want to evaluate one, you'll want to evaluate 2, or all of them. For this use case, we are going to evaluate 3 of them, just because of like demo purposes. For time-wise, obviously, the more criteria we evaluate, the slower it will be.
Yep.
So we'll choose correctness, relevance, and readability, for example.
Okay.
And then I have in my clipboard the question that I want to ask. So give me a plan for my 3-day vacation to Paris based on the weather and the events happening now. Because we want to make sure that it's not just like visiting the Eiffel Tower. It's like if something cool is going on, we have access to that.
Okay.
So let's do the question. And obviously, Sonnet 3.5, like not multi-agent, it will go straight to answering the question, because it doesn't have to go into the web or go into the weather agent stuff. And it starts with, I apologize, but I'm unable to provide real-time weather. So that's fine, because it is not able. And in the other hand, with Sonnet 3.5, with the agent architecture, we can see that it goes, if you see the chain of thought, it goes to the weather agent. It goes then, based on the weather, to the web agent, and it generates the final answer based on that information that it got. And we can see that we have the weather for the different days, and then the schedule. Okay, but that's okay, because this is not what we actually are pursuing here. We do want the actual evaluation. So we can see Sonnet 3.5 already finished the evaluation. It's with this tick, but Sonnet 3.5 Collibri is generating the judgment. So what is happening right now is that we are calling different models, and it's really important that we mentioned that we are calling different models, because if we only call Sonnet 3.5, it can be biased. So if we like compare Llama with Sonnet 3.5 and we only do the metrics with Sonnet 3.5, it will probably say that Sonnet 3.5 is better, just because of how tokens work in the background. But yeah, we call different models, and again, this is something that AWS makes really easy, because we can just go into Bedrock, call plenty of different models. We have everything there, so it's really cool.
You have the choice to actually go and actually compare them all, and I can see on the right down there you have like a lot of things that people care about: the score, the latency, and price, which is really important for a lot of our customers as well.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the, like, let's say, main metrics that we are focusing. The score will be an average between the score criteria that we selected, in this case correctness, relevance, readability. Then we have the latency. Obviously, Sonnet 3.5, the multi-agent will be slower, because it has to do more stuff, and also pricier, because it has more than one LLM call, and also the actual tools, right? So the first thing we see here is a like summary of what happened during the evaluation, the comparison between one model and the other. And then in here we have the actual scoring. We only tested 2 approaches here because of timing, but you can actually, the idea here will be to actually test like 8, 9 different things at the same time. And we'll get a summary of each of them along with the score, and as you said, latency and pricing. And actually, if we go into the comparison tab, we can see some like pretty UI metrics where we can actually see where the score comes from. So we can see that correctness and relevance are the ones that have the main difference, because of not being able to access the actual information. So obviously, it's if we're asking based on the current weather, and the answer is not based on the current weather, obviously the correctness and relevance, it won't be there. But we can see that the readability, it's more or less the same, because at the end of the day, we are using the same foundation model in the background, so the actual readability should be more or less the same, because it's not based on other stuff.
So this kind of reminds me of an idiom that we have in the States, where you take a triangle and you have 3 dimensions: fast, good, and cheap. So it has always been a struggle, especially in tech, to help guide even internal teams to understand that you have to choose for the right tool, or potentially right tools for the job, to balance that out. And it seems like this tool has done a fantastic job of orchestrating that. It leads me to a question, though. Is this something that you use internally with your teams to help them, aside from get to ground on which model or combination models to use, but to also give you back your time to not have to go and do this for them?
Yeah. So yeah, you can take that. So that's exactly true. We using it within our AI engineering team. We used to spend in average 5 to 7 days for these evaluation processes. But once we have that, it's now less than 24 hours. We do all of this evaluation when the new model comes in, and all of them going to be very soon available on AWS Bedrock. And also when we are keen to test a new foundational model as well, it's quite much easier to add them to the ecosystem and test it across other models.
And I think this is really helpful, particularly for the organization. How does this actually feed into proving business value for the applications?
Ooh, great question.
Yep.
Yeah, so, sorry, can you repeat that question, like the last bit?
Well, of course, there's the technical people like us who love to get to know which models are best. But in terms of the organization, they love seeing how the business value could help, how these are more efficient, maybe more cheaper.
Yeah.
Does this provide a lot more data to them to make that?
Yeah, and with the, latency is like a critical factor, and it's something I always remind the client that if something can be really good, but if we have to wait 1 minute for the answer to come, it's pointless. But with the pricing, it's a really critical matter, because before it was really difficult for us to get actual pricing of what is going to happen, because of course we have token count pricing based and stuff, but we cannot actually give a number. But with this, we can give an average number. Let's say that this is the use case, and the company expects, I don't know, 100,000 calls per day to the approach. So we can have real numbers comparing the different approaches. So in this use case, for example, if I was the company, if I was a small startup, it may be useful to just go with Sonnet 3.5 without the multi-agentic. So there's no a straight answer, and that's why this is useful. So we can test lots of things.
But to your point, I have seen in practice, customers go forth and build a POC, and as they're delivering it to the business counterpart, it takes 9 minutes for the result to come back. 10 minutes, 15 in a couple instances. And yes, it was super cheap. It wasn't particularly fast, but it was good because it was accurate. But it kind of becomes a balancing act. And this becomes powerful to those internal teams to realize that they don't have to go through and effectively lose the trust of other stakeholders by building something that may meet accuracy needs, is just too slow to be useful.
Goes back to that triangle you're talking about, trying to even out and get that nice even in betweener for all of that.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to not only test models, but also test approaches. So even if, because we are comparing here multi-agent to just one LLM call, but we could also add the actual workflow of getting data, processing it, pushing it, and keep adding that to the price and latency and have that reflected. So yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And one really important point that I want to mention that Ingelare also already covered briefly is that we can use this, we can say Gen AI Ops or something like that, where every month 2-3 different models, really powerful models come in, and not necessarily, I mean, they are probably better than the previous version, but not necessarily cheaper. So it's finding that numbers for the client to justify, do we go with that, or do we stick with the current approach that we know it works? It could be better, but also it's more expensive. So
Absolutely.
One more reason that this tool is quite powerful is in machine learning we have a proverb saying no free lunch theorem.
Yep.
It means like,
Oh,
it
yes.
depends on the data. The algorithm can be best, but the decision is going to the data. And this tool is basically working with the data, the right data. The different data is having a different combination of these models, different performance, efficiency, and effectiveness.
That's fantastic. And it looks like we're just about out of time. So thank you so much for coming, showing us this tool, and teaching us that, yes, there is a better way to go through and do these evaluations. But before we wrap, is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience? A nugget of wisdom, potential, how they can go about and help themselves in doing these sorts of things?
good question. No, I mean, working with LLMs, from my experience in this field, is like really rapidly evolving. So I think that as much as we can automate things, it makes life easier, not only for us, but also for like go into like a marketing team, a sales team, and actually explain what's going on. So I think, yeah, trying to automate things and build like things that are visible it's key in this.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And folks, stay tuned. We got some more content coming up for you. Don't go anywhere. I know I won't.
We'll be right here.
We'll be right back.